Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hello, how are you? Thank you for joining me on YouTube. Thank you for joining me on Facebook. Thank you for TikTok. And I just want to make sure that I can be heard very clearly. Yes, that is correct. I can be heard very clearly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is Saturday night, Saturday the 30th of the 9th, 2023. And we're heading into the Christmas era. It's a lovely day outside today, a bit chilly, I must say. But at the same time, God is good and all is well. And just want to thank you guys for joining today. Hey, Michelle, balance and wellness. Awesome. I was about to hit you up on the WhatsApp to ask if you there was going to be in the live today. Oh, yes, definitely at 10 o'clock. you know, one of the things I was thinking about today was that since 2015, I started the Sylbourne show. I don't think there's been a week that I've never had a show or something going out. And then since the whole aspect of COVID, it became more intense. And therefore, one of the key aspect of things in life is consistency of purpose. And you've got to really have that high level of consistency in everything that you do, and that is so important. You know, one of the things that I was contemplating today, as you can see, the topic turn words into wealth, the business creation era. You know, I was this week was a very interesting week, and the very interesting week about this was one was with the minister of tourism. No, actually, not the minister of tourism. I think he's around, but not the minister of tourism. But it was the minister of industry and commerce, and the minister of industry and commerce is Auburn Hill, and he was here, and one of the interesting thing was that at the High Commission and the events that he had, it was about Jamaica breaking into the UK. Believe it or not, there are people coming along with hair business, food business, book business, and different aspect. Really want to tap into the UK, and I'm saying that is very interesting. But what was very interesting about it was that it wasn't just the minister alone, but actually he brought all these different persons with. And you'll see I'll have one of the guests tonight who was there. And that's why I wove it into the business creation era, you know? Because it's an era where words have the power to turn into wealth and dreams have the potential to become a reality. In this age, the currency of ideas, innovation, and entrepreneurship reigns supreme. And one of the reasons why I say that is because people are now actually looking at life in a different way. It is not the typical thing as before. Entrepreneurs breeding ideas. And just imagine for a moment that your words are the key to unlocking untold riches. We are living in an age where the most valuable currency is not the coins in your pocket anymore, but the ideas in your mind. Think about that. Every word spoken, every idea conceived has the potential to create wealth, to change lives, to shape the future. The power to transform your words into wealth is within your grasp. And it begins with the belief in the limitless possibilities that the business creation era offers. I said to someone today, man, the sky's the limit. And the person knows, Sylbourne. Remember, you change it. It is not the sky's the limit, it's the sky's the start. The era's unleash a wave of creativity and innovation like never before. It's a time when business can be born from a single spark of inspiration, a time when individuals can carve their own path to success. In this era, entrepreneurs are the architects of their dreams and they build empires from the ground up. They see opportunity where others see obstacles and they turn their visions into reality. It's an era defined by the courage to take risk, the resilience to overcome challenges, and the commitment to turn words into wealth. Let me leave you with this thought. Embrace this business creation era where words become wealth. The future belongs to those who dare to dream, who take action. I repeat, who take action and who believe in the transformative power of their own words. It's an era where success is not determined by your background or your circumstances, but by your determination to turn your aspirations into accomplishments. The world is waiting. for your ideas, yours ideas, you know. But by the world is waiting for the innovation on your words to become the wealth that will shape the future. Seize the moment, ladies and gentlemen. For this era, you can truly turn words into wealth, and your business endeavors can create a legacy that stands the test of time. And this is a powerful era. I want to invite my good co-host, Mr. O'Neill. How are you doing, O'Neill, today?
I'm good, Sylbourne. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm really excited. Because I believe that we're on the threshold of something fantastic, and it's and as I always say, it depends on who you listen to and what you're getting into your system, because you'll think that the world is gone to the dogs, or the world is barking up that bark tree. you know, let me say, the Michelle said we have to talk about this, that student with the head injury where another student punched. Okay. I think I saw something about that. Many people are their own bosses these days. Well said. Very eloquent, said Sylbourne. Thank you very much. Yes, O'Neill.
Yeah, it's where you want me to start? If I just look at the U.S.,
I think you need to start by what you're drinking.
I'm actually I'm going to Saki,
Yeah.
and I had like I took some colleagues last night to the minibar. So Jose and Joyce have the minibar. Is probably one of the most best dining experience I've ever had in a long
I
time.
thought you were going to say one of the most expensive places in the world.
Maybe that too, but it was a great experience. And if you ever have the opportunity to experience a minibar, it's
Yes.
super. It's really cool. But here in the U.S., there's a lot going on. So, Brian, we're almost on the precipice of a lockdown in our government.
Well, I understand New York, because a friend of mine went to New York and their husband can't get them back out because they got, they got
Flooded. So that's
wet up. Yeah,
so
lockdown in New York.
you have the flooding in New York. No, government shut down here. So for most folks, the U.S. government fiscal year starts October 1st. So
Yes,
the Congress has to pass legislation or continuing resolution to keep the government afloat.
yes,
There's impasse between the two political parties, and there is, it seems, if they don't get something by Monday, the government is going to shut down. And what that means is that most civil servants will be furloughed.
mm,
Only essential workers will work in the government.
wow.
The last time we had this was 2018, I believe, and it lasted for 45 days.
Was that with Trump the last time?
Yes, that was 2018. It
Mm,
lasted 5 days, and the typical thing, Sylbourne, it's over policy, it's over funding. What gets funding? There's a big thing around: should we continue to fund Ukraine? There is big debate. The Republican side about they need to cut spending because our debt is just spiraling out of control. Where I think we're at 33 trillion. So right now there's an impasse. So if that nothing gets resolved between now and Monday, the government will shut down, which impact a lot of folks because if you're a civil servant, it means you don't get a check. You don't get a check for as long as the government is locked down. You're not getting paid. So it's going to be hardship for a lot of people for a while if we do go into shutdown. I'm hope they could come to some agreement.
but but everybody know this is not good for the economy in the states, isn't it?
A lot of people,
Is it just, yeah? Is it political? Yeah, I go on. Yeah.
it's political posturing, and depending on what side you're on, you're like, you have one perspective or the other. But this is where I think governance, people can't govern. You could win elections, but if you can't govern, it become chaos. And I think that's what you're seeing in DC right now.
Wow, wow, that's very
Yeah,
interesting. So
yeah. So
therefore, it is not a thing. It's not a thing as if when it was Trump time and they were really at Trump and trying to make his reign a bit difficult. It is really something which happens. It seems to be happening regular though. you know.
Yeah, it's people can't come to agreement, and it's the art of negotiation. Meaning, you might have your list of demands. I might have mine. We both know you're not going to get 100%. So how do you meet in the middle? And I
Mm.
think over the last couple of years, there's this perspective that you can't meet in the middle anymore. So it's causing chaos in government, and to your point, it's impacting people's pocket and people's livelihood. So hopefully they can figure something out. Oh.
Yes, yes. Well, Michelle seemed to have the answer. She said, stop giving money to Ukraine so we won't be in all of this. We have hunger and homeless people in our country, and they're giving Ukraine all the money. And, these guys on Capitol Hill are a joke and they are theatrics to seek attention. But and they all caved in.
Yeah,
I think,
it's
yeah,
possible.
yeah, yeah. I think the president of Guyana was really articulating it by saying they give so much money to Ukraine vis-a-vis different other countries, of brown people or so. They were just saying the priorities at the same time.
Yeah, and,
Um,
people look at it and say, where should we send our foreign aid, and what should be the criteria for sending foreign aid? And you have one perspective that says, you need to stop sort of Putin and his aggression. There's other folks like what Michelle is saying, right? We have a ton of priorities here within the U.S. vis-a-vis education, vis-a-vis, giving kids lunch, etc. So it's a dynamics, but the question is, where do you find the balance in all of
yeah,
this? So that's what's going on this
yeah.
side of the pond.
Well, on this side of the world, um, interesting period. We had the incident with There's so many things. We had the incident with the young lady who was fighting with the Asian guy in the shop, and you know, it's so it is so sad because right after that you have another young girl who was killed by a guy because apparently what has happened now is that he he has a girlfriend. Well, it was his girl or whatever like that, and she broke off with him, and she rejected him. He offered her a flower, she rejected him, and then he went for her with a
Uh,
cutlass, a machete
I'm
on
not
him.
sure. I'm not sure.
17-year-old boy.
Crazy,
And
but sorry,
mm,
go ahead.
yeah, 17-year-old boy. And then the girl who passed away, the girl who died, her name was Eliana, and I have her picture there.
Yeah.
And she went in to defend
So
her
she's
friend.
from the UK.
Yeah, she's from the UK. From the UK. She's 15. She wanted to be a lawyer as well. Can you imagine? She was actually defending her friend. She wanted to be a lawyer as well. And then the knife, went into her neck.
Uh,
That was the end of it. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
it's sad, and I think I forgot who spoke about it in an interview recently that we've seen criminal activity around theft, property, etc. But you're seeing more of the personal one where people are sort of taking folks' life for simple things as you just mentioned it. You got rejected for flowers. And it just tells you where our society is, and it just tell you the value we have on each other, life and humanity. And I wonder, where's the compassion, and where we need to go back to? Is it
Mm.
a lack of parenting? Is it a lack of connection? Is it a lack of what? There's something I think that is brewing, and it's not just a US UK thing. You see, the prime minister in Jamaica spoke about it on that interview, that have much more personalized crime than you had before. So it's something for the psychologists to study, Sylbourne, and policymaker to take a look and say, over the last 3 years, did the impact of lockdown, etc., now
Mm.
coming out on the other side, is mental health a huge issue, which I think it is, and how do we sort of fix that? Right? It's just like
Yeah.
um, a good friend of mine was I think is in Milan, and a young man threw himself in front of the train and depressed, right? And you're seeing more and more of these things.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring in Oneil, my guest, our guest Carmen Hope Thomas, and also because it links in with the whole topic today, turn words into wealth, business creation era, and she was with the Auburn Hill, the Minister of Industry and Commerce, on their recent trip here to the UK with an entourage of other entrepreneurs. But I'm bringing her in specifically because I just want to hear her views briefly on this issue here with young people and killing or something like that. Hi, Carmen. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Fantastic. We are fantastic. Now we hear from you. We are excited.
Hi, Oneil. How are you? Is it
I want to introduce to Oneil. Oneil,
It's
that's
Neil.
Oneil.
Hi, Carmen. Actually, I like your middle name, Carmen Hope Thomas.
Yes,
That's a
yes.
very powerful name. I hope to see it in a book sometime. Carmen Hope Thomas.
there is a book. I wrote a book back in 2017 called Why Marry a Man You Don't Need.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
say the title again.
Why marry a man you don't need?
Or why marry a man you don't need?
Now it's not a male bashing book because I've been married now for
But I thought you was talking about Manchester United. Man, but he said Manu. Sorry, so I'm gonna compare him comment.
but no, it's actually a book about I'm an author.
Yes.
It's actually a book about just how women who get some success in their lives
Mm,
determine that they don't need a man. And so this book is why marry a man you don't need. I think
mm,
a lot of women go into relationships thinking, well, what can he do for me? Well, what if he doesn't need to do anything for you? Why don't
yeah.
we change our perspective on marriage and its purpose? And that was what the book was about. It's still out there. I still get royalty checks, so
Awesome.
somebody's buying
Okay.
it.
Someone is buying it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Carmen Hope Thomas is best known as a singer, songwriter, and producer, author. Her career has crossed from radio to TV as a voiceover artist, marketing executive, and has over 25 years experience in radio working with some of the biggest names, with DJ Khaled. Yes. Is that all he does? DJ Khaled. That's all he does. Work with people and say DJ Khaled. Is that what
He's
he does?
actually a very talented DJ. He
I
really
know. I
is.
remember. I remember seeing him with Supercat. Well, not me seeing him, but I seen old
So
videos.
the interesting thing about for years, and here's the thing, Carmen. I always thought he was Jamaican, and here's why. No. I know that. What I'm saying because he was in the dance hall in Jamaica in the early age and speaking like patois, and I'm like,
Yes.
we used to debate and say where he's from, and we're like, yeah, he's Jamaican.
Hmm.
And then it's years later, I'm like, no, he's not Jamaican, but he just adopted the culture.
Yes.
Well, it's interesting being we worked together in Miami and being there together in Miami, he was around it so I think that's DJ Irie, DJ Khaled, DJ Griot, all
Yes.
these guys we were all together and so he was around the culture, but I think he's Iranian or
He's
Jordanian.
a Palestinian. His
Yeah, yeah.
yes, Palestinian.
And what's funny is I used to sell advertising to his uncle, not realizing they were related. So that tells you a lot about how small the world is.
But the one thing people can learn
Yes.
from
Yes.
Sylbourne, he's one of the best
Yeah.
marketers out there. He knows how to market. He has a news store
Mm,
in Miami, and this guy is using the power of social media to just kill it. And I'm like,
yes.
I say, any young kids out there, follow this dude because he's one of the best marketer out there by no
Yes.
means. Best marketer.
Definitely. I
I'm.
totally agree.
Yeah.
I
I
totally agree.
remember when he went to Jamaica and everything was Yardman style. This is Yardman style. Everything Yardman style, and that became a byword, Yardman style. But let me just say a few little more things. You know, and this is about yourself. After a brain tumor in 2015, found herself facing an uphill battle to heal and get information about why the tumor happened to her. Her research and journey led her to create her own hair and skincare brand. That's where I want to take this. ZIPPORAH Hair and Skincare in Jamaica. Her
Mhm.
brand and advocacy for natural hair informed many of the dangers of chemicals in hair products marketed to black women. The popularity of her brand has now pushed this product to the USA, UK, Canada, and Zimbabwe, with Mexico and Ghana soon to join the areas where the product will be marketed and sold. ZIPPORAH here in Kings Care is located at 3 Apollo Close, Kingston 10 in Jamaica. And I will be at the launch in the UK on Monday. Am I correct? That's a plug.
Yes, and I'll be there too.
Are
Monday's
you in
my
the
birthday.
US? Are you in the US, Carmen?
No, right now I'm in London.
Why not? No, I mean, is your product? Can you find your
Yes,
product in
it's
the
on
US?
Amazon. It's on
Okay.
Amazon right now.
Mm. So tell us now. Um, Before we go any further, let us drop back a little bit. I don't know, and I sent you a couple of things about this incident which happened with this young girl recently got killed, and Oneil, we're talking about it briefly. I don't know if you have any thoughts on it before we talk about your reason in the UK.
I heard about it. I think it's tragic.
Mm,
But a lot of these things I personally believe are happening because of young people consuming so much social media. I mean, it's proven that it's causing young people issues with depression and anxiety, and uh, it's all there.
yeah.
There, there's proof that that's what's happening, and so because of that, you have to limit how much your kids are consuming.
Mm,
In addition to that, I think that young people have struggled even during our time. And I don't consider myself old, but I definitely am not a part of this generation that's
yeah.
currently out there. Um,
Like myself. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm young. I'm in this generation.
I'm a digital native. I'm sorry. I'm a like a digital native.
but I think that we have struggled to help young people manage emotions.
Mm,
They most guys don't know how to manage, or some girls as well don't know how to manage what they feel, whether they feel as though they're in love, or they feel as though they've been scorned, or they don't know how to
mm,
navigate that. And so, especially when you couple that with the fact that you can sit all day and shoot somebody on your computer playing video games, it's just a no brainer that that spills over into real life, especially when you become a bit unhinged with trying to manage your emotions. So yeah.
One of the things that which came out strongly was the fact that the view is that he said if no one can, if he cannot have her, no one can. And we have heard that in the past. And you wonder if that has filtered down into the psyche of young people. And back again to managing these disputes, managing and how to resolve matters as well. Where did these come from? Um, you know, and I always like to wonder. We always hear more about the victim. They talk about the victim, she this, blah blah blah, but you never sometimes hear about the perpetrator.
Mhm.
What was there something that we saw at the point? Was there a trigger that we could say was there a mental health issue? So therefore, people can actually look back and say these are some things that we need to look for. You ever thought about that?
So,
Yeah.
so I think Carmen hit on something that
Yeah.
is. I see. So I'll give you an example. My daughter did around the managing emotion piece, because my daughter just did a UN roundtable and her group lost, and the way she took it was sort of super emotional. And I
Mhm.
said, sweetie, just remember this is a quote from Nelson Mandela: you never lose, you win or you learn, right? And it goes back to what you said, Carmen, about managing emotions. And unfortunately, Sylbourne, we're not taught to manage our emotion. Like, for example, growing up in Jamaica, you can't cry, because if you cry, they tell you you're a sissy, right?
Mhm.
So you bottle everything up,
Man
and
up.
just a manifest man up.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you were never allowed to show emotion as a male. If you show in Jamaica, back when I was growing up, if you show emotion, you're ridiculed, you're called sissy, you call every name in the book. So we learned to bottle everything down.
Wow.
And now you're seeing it where, to Carmen's point, around a lot of our kids are spending so much time in front of these consoles, and they're not learning to interact, right? They're not learning to do conflict resolution because they spend so much time, as you said, shooting all these fictitious or digital thing, and they just don't learn. So when they get into situation as this, they think they're in a virtual world,
Yes.
right? And the one thing you can't come back. The game don't restart.
Mm-mm,
Wow.
not even. And I think too, I was surprised. I had to just yesterday, I had to do a Zoom call with my son and his teacher because I'm not there in Jamaica. And he has a class on conflict resolution. They've added it in because they realize these kids need it. And so, you know, if we want to be modern and evolve, we need to take the time to study some of the ways that we have to teach our children. And oftentimes we want to do it the way our moms did it. Well, you know what? You can't do it the way your mom did it because you don't have the tools your mom had,
Yeah.
and your mom
Yeah.
doesn't have the tools that you have, and your mom didn't have to deal with. I remember when it was such a big deal that we consumed so much television. Now these kids have their own personal TV in
In
their
their
hand.
pockets.
In your
In
pocket. Yeah.
on the train. I was on the train today. I don't think anybody was looking up and looking around.
Nobody
Everybody
was
was,
looking.
yeah. So understanding that, my husband and I make it a point to at least once a week just consume our kids' thoughts. Talk to me about anything. And that's another thing. Kids don't know how to communicate. And so they lash out because they don't know how to say what they're feeling. Not to say that we got it worked out, but I think that we have at least recognized what the issues are and have
Mm.
made a concerted effort as a family to try to combat it in our own homes.
Yeah.
And Carmen is like last night. I was telling Sylbourne, great experience at Jose Andres mini bar, and there was a couple there. It was interesting. This is one of the best dining experience you could find at a 2-star Michelin place. And the interesting thing, the two couples didn't communicate. They were on their phones, and we're like, they were literally celebrating. I'm like, it's literally when they were ready for the check. They're like, oh, and they left. They literally for the entire 2 hour they were on their phone. I'm like, this is just weird.
And
Yeah.
I'll tell you something even funnier. My niece, who is in her, I don't know how old she is, but she's an adult. She was dating a guy and they were having issues. They went to dinner, and do you know they broke up sitting across from each other?
On the
They
phone.
sitting right across from each other. They broke up via text.
It goes back to we don't know how to do conflict resolution. We
No, we
don't
don't.
know how to have the discussion because we're not taught. So
And so I think that really boils down to what happened with that young lady. You got a young man that doesn't know how to manage his emotions, and so
Yeah.
that to me, at the end of the day, should be a learning moment
moment.
for
Moment.
all parents that are out there of
Yeah.
teenagers, especially.
Well, thanks for that. Well, you're here anyhow with bringing your business to the UK. It's strange. I mean, I found it strange. I must say, Carmen, when I went and I met and I interviewed the minister, and then he said he got all these entrepreneurs, and I met you guys downstairs, and I'm saying you guys are bringing business to the UK. Tell us about it and why you came to the UK.
Well, Jamaica is an island of a little less than 3 million people, and there's only so much you can sell to 3 million people.
Mm,
Especially when less than half of them have a livable wage that they can have that discretionary income to buy whatever it is you're selling. So um, I I thought it was a no brainer. Export is the only way in order to really grow your business. So that's what we're doing. We have a wonderful team of individuals that work for us that are you met my assistant who came. I have a
yes.
general manager, and I also have another team. I have a stylist that tests our products, and so we have a wonderful team of people that are working really hard to create a signature brand, not
Mm,
just another shampoo and another conditioner, but you saw our products. They're
yes.
signature. We did my background is in advertising and marketing. And so I have, all this experience in putting together really good brands that you could take to market. with that, having, that kind of expertise behind a marketable item like ours, just it's just a no brainer for Jamaica to say to us, come come with us, we're going to introduce you. And you have no idea how necessary it is to have the backing of the minister of the
Mm.
country, for them to come with us and say, here, we're going to literally take you into this space and help you. We needed it because it's so difficult to export from Jamaica. And once you get into that space and you get an opportunity to do it, having the government stand behind you and with you to say, hey, we'll support you, was just the push we needed.
So Carmen, tell us about, and Sylbourne sort of alluded to it a little bit. Tell us what was sort of the story behind you creating this brand.
Well, I had a brain tumor back in 2015 that rendered me blind. I was 100% blind.
Oh
i'm
wow.
I'm not blind now, but I don't see well. Like, I'm looking at the screen and I see the products, I see the silhouette of the products, but I can't see you guys.
Wow.
Um, and it's
Okay.
because of light, lighting issues. But what I'm saying to you is that whole experience for me was was life changing, because I really needed an understanding as to why I went blind. And so after they removed the tumor, my sight came back, but it's still damaged. It's going to be damaged. Um, I talked to my doctor and I talked to my endocrinologist and I tried to get an understanding. What happened to me? Why did this happen to me? Do I need to change my diet? Do I need to, get have eye surgery? What do I need to do? And when I heard from them that there was nothing that I could do, that I really just had to allow myself to have, this experience that I'm going to live with,
Mm.
I found that difficult to accept. I just knew that there had to be a reason behind it. And that's when I started to research. And as an author, research is what I do.
Yeah.
I came across this study that was done in 2018, April 10, because it was my mother's birthday, 2018. And this study finally, and when I say finally, it took them 11 years to get the funding to do it, but it
Mm.
finally linked the problems that Black women specifically have: brain tumors, fibroid tumors. I don't think I know one Black woman without at least one fibroid
Mm.
tumor, ovarian cysts, um, early puberty in Black girls, um, benign tumors in the breast. All these things were from our hair care products that were actually marketed to women of color. And think
Mm.
about it. Who else uses our product?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Nobody uses our hair. We're the only ones using it.
Yes.
So it just made sense that me, being someone who had my hair creamed, as we say, almost every 6 weeks since I was 8 till I was in my early 40s, it made sense that there was a link there for me. I had 17 fibroid tumors removed. I had
Wow.
brain tumor removed. Oh my goodness. It was like a light bulb went off in my head. It's my hair. I got my hair done every Thursday at 4 o'clock. My husband, I'll tell you, when I married him, I said, there's one thing you gotta allow me to continue to do, is my
Yeah.
Thursday at 4 p.m. appointment. I go get my hair and my nails done every week. And so when you understand the
Mm.
culture of most women of color when it comes to our hair is political. Our hair speaks to whether or not we're comfortable in certain spaces.
Mm.
Our hair is what people see before they see us. And so it just made sense that this was one thing that was so personal to me that was causing me these issues, that I said, I have to do something. I have to do something. Yes, 8 years old, because my hair was so thick and my mother didn't have the time
Wow.
or the patience to deal with it. So she steamed it. And I'm not alone. There's a ton of women right around that 8 to 10 year mark. That's when it happens. And so for us to not address the humongous elephant in the room when it comes to our hair, I had to take it on. And when I found this study, I spread the word as much as I could, and then I came up with the idea of having my own products, because at the time I couldn't use everything. After the tumor was taken, everything was sensitive. I couldn't stand certain smells. I couldn't stand certain those plugins for scent and certain aerosols. I was even making my own detergent for my clothes. That's
Yeah.
how bad it was.
Oh, wow.
Um, and I wasn't alone. That's the thing. I met a lot of other women just like me. And that's when I came up with the products and I started using them. They were the only things that worked for me. Other women I sold it to, and it just it mushroomed into the business that it is today.
So
Good.
so therefore, would you say then that it is also not just the products also, but there's an education process that you are doing now as well, isn't it?
I'm trying to, because I think a lot of women just cannot wrap their brain around changing their hair or going natural. That's that's the that's like a big no-no. A lot of women can't do it. They tell me all the time. And if I showed you pictures of me before, I felt like I couldn't do it either, but I did it. My hair is completely natural, and as a matter of fact, I've had so many people say I look younger.
The interesting thing, Carmen. So I have four sisters, and they all went natural. It started with one of my oldest sister, and she was like and then everyone followed suit. And the exact thing you're talking about in terms of not using these products has been a tremendous source of change for them. And I don't know who did this study, but someone did some study a couple of years ago comparing sort of African Americans with sort of Africans who just kept their ears natural. And what you talked about is there's no sort of fibroids and all the thing that
We don't have them.
we
Yeah.
don't have. And folks were saying, yes, it has to do with something around the products. But for years, these companies like, no, we've tested it rigorously. But we continue. And that's why I love the story, because I always say you have to have a customer of one, and you were the first customer. Now you're spreading the story. So good for you, because I think it's needed. And this goes back to Silver, and we talk about, we have to create products for ourselves, right?
Mhm.
2 years ago, I decided only to use natural soap. I
Mhm.
don't use bottled soap anymore. I go to this farmer's market and I buy these natural soap from these, and it has been a tremendous source of change how my skin feels. So I think we now have to get into mode like you were doing and create products for our people. The question will actually, how have, because one of the things I see, we'll create stuff for ourselves, but then, you put it beside, this product in the store, and our folks that look like us will go buy the other product and not ours.
Mhm.
Well,
How are you combating that?
we put a lot of thought and resources in our packaging, because it's really the packaging that speaks to a lot of people who will pick up our product before they pick up other products because of the packaging. It looks like Jamaica, wood and water. Let me show you
Yeah.
this.
That's good. And then
You know,
once you
having
tell
the
them about
wood
the product.
top, having the bottles that are tinted, which protects the efficacy of the product. Having it look like us. It's
Yeah.
just. And a lot of times, what we'll do is we'll make up something, but we'll put it in any old thing, thinking
No,
that it doesn't matter, but it does.
that's good. So tell us about your product lines.
Well, we started out. Let me tell you how it started for me. So the first thing that happened to me, my hair fell out completely. So I had no hair. I was
Mhm.
going to the barbershop with my husband and my kids. I wore wigs sometimes, but I had no hair. And so I graduated from that, And my girlfriend who helped me formulate, she's a chemist, helped me formulate the products. I started using the shampoo and the conditioner, and my hair started to grow back. After my hair grew back a little, I started to get really excited. And so she made a leave-in conditioner for me because it was so short that, I wanted to kind of look a little curly look. And so that's what happened next. And then the hair butter is where we went next. Our hair butter is our biggest seller. And so
Yes.
I started using the hair butter more and more and more to give myself twists and things like that. After we got our hair care line kind of nailed down, one of the things that I discovered that was interesting that happened to me after the tumor was removed was I had this weird patchiness of dry skin. Like I would have regular skin, and then a patch of just dry. Like it almost looked like a little ashy bed of skin. Well, my endocrinologist explained to me that my hormones were affected, and that's where the patchiness comes from. Some people call it psoriasis, they call it all kinds of things. But for the most part, it bothered me. So we got a formulation together for a body wash and a body cream, which we
Yeah.
used for a while. It took a while for that to take off in Jamaica. So because my funds were limited, I went ahead and went with the skincare, which is now one of our biggest sellers. Our facial products are really do well. They're made with kojic acid and turmeric. Our hair care line, what makes it unique is we use hemp oil. As hemp oil is great for strengthening broken hair. Our products have no water in them. They're aloe based, and so they're very nourishing, and they kind of are great for any individual who's trying to grow their hair. They're
what what
nose.
what you what you can do, you can direct me to where it is because I'm on your website now and I'm sharing it as well. So if
Yeah.
you can
So
direct
that
me to
for
anything,
our
yeah.
hair care products, we have the first bundle, which is that you see there is the um, well, first you see the growth oil. That's
Yeah.
the growth oil there. And then after the growth oil, you see the bundle of our next products, which is the shampoo, conditioner, the leave-in, and the hair butter. And then
Mm.
you have the individual products, which is what you're going to next. So we sell them as bundles if you want a bundle, or you can buy them individually for people who may be just re-upping what they've already had in the past.
And Carmen, where can people find it? Is it in store, online?
Mhm. In Jamaica, we're in Fontana, we're in Monarch, we're on all the major pharmacies. Uh, in in the United States, we're on Amazon. In Canada, we're on Amazon. And although we've been licensed for Amazon Mexico, we just have not launched there yet. We're just trying to keep up with the demand for the U.S. market. The U.S. market wipes out our stock on a regular basis, but for the most part, we are ready for the challenge. We've got some more investment in, and we're going to continue to build the brand and
It,
come to the UK.
yeah. It is interesting. And your product lineage of targeting the UK is so timely because the recent incident which happened in Peckham opened up another debate again. Um, about the fact that this multi-million industry in the UK, and I guess you guys may have the figures for the US, but I think in the UK is a multi-million industry whereby the only way those who produce it or those who sell it can survive is because of the black ladies who actually purchase from it. And now you're actually tapping into the UK, and you're going to have some exciting competitors who might not be happy about you. But what do you see or what do you forecast as a challenge? Because I think many people are now looking away how they can go to places where they can feel respected and feel that their money is being used and that someone's care. Just like Oneil and myself, we care about our hair. That's why we keep it very low. Oh, we don't have any.
We have here at Sylbourne, you just can't see
Well, I can tell you this. It's a $3.6 million industry.
You mean billion?
Billion, you mean?
Billion.
I'm talking about the U.S. I'm sure it's into the billions if you look at the bigger picture.
Mm.
Um, I did not get into this for that reason. What I got into it for was because I really felt as though, I get offended, honestly offended, when I hear stories like the one you just mentioned about the young lady in the hair store, and that same similar incident happened in the U.S. I remember a few years back, a
Mm.
woman went in and they accused her of stealing, and she didn't steal anything, and she was trying to leave, and they beat her up trying to, and
Wow.
noticed when police came and searched her, she didn't have anything. There was no apology, nothing. They just, walked away. And what I'm saying is the reason why they can do that is because they've never respected us, and they've monopolized the market of such that in order for you to continue to get the products you need, you're still going to have to go back to them because they've monopolized it. And I'll tell you why that is. I'll give you a quick story. My sister is a contractor. She builds houses and strip malls and churches and whatever else out there. And she had a piece of land in a city, a metropolitan area, and she built a little 4 or 5 unit strip mall on it. And these are very popular in Florida. Just a quick little something you could put in a commercial area and make some quick money. And there was a young black lady who wanted to open up a hair store. Now, down the road, maybe a block and a half, was another one, but it was Asian owned. And so she was trying to stock her store. Like, she was really struggling to get the stuff that everybody wanted
Yeah.
in this particular store. So when she went down to the street, even though there was a black girl that was that was taking your money, there were Asians in the back. And
Mm.
so she asked the girl, she says, "You know what? I've been trying to buy this bulk. Where can I get it?" And the girl said, "Well, I don't know. Let me get my boss." And a lady, Asian lady, comes out and she's like, "Where do you get it? I want to buy this in bulk." And the lady either knew who she was, or maybe the young black girl told her, "This is the girl from down the street that has a place." And that Asian woman told her, "I can't tell you. You could buy from me, but I can't tell you where I get it." And so she says she couldn't understand why that was such an issue for her to get it wholesale as well. She says, "Because you have to buy from me. You cannot buy around me." Basically,
Wow.
we got it on lock. Her cousin and her, whoever else back in China or wherever else, or Korea or wherever they're from, they've all colluded together to keep the market of such where no one else can get in.
Keep it tight.
Literally.
They locked it.
Yes.
Yeah,
And because they have the network to stay
Yeah.
together, they can do that. And guess what? We could get mad about it, but we're still going to give them our money
yeah.
because we got to we're so addicted to the look that they know that they sell to us. And a lot of times it's a standard of beauty that it wasn't even set by us. It was set by somebody else. So
Mm.
that upsets me. I must admit that upsets me. I don't like it. But it's an education that we have to let women know that, you know what, you've got to do something different, because we just have to. We can't go on like this. And so I'm working with partners that look like me. My chemist looks like me. All my staff look like me. My distributor looks like me. And I try to educate women. There are 3 class action lawsuits going on right now over our hair care products and how they're killing us.
Wow.
Tresemme is being sued. L'Oreal is being sued because they buy up these smaller companies that are black owned, like Shea Moisture and Carol's Daughter and all of those. Marielle, they've all been bought. And Revlon is being sued right now. Look it up. Class action lawsuits.
And what you do, you also bring these up a lot. You speak about these on your blogs, you say.
Absolutely. You can go to my website, and in the blog section, every time a class action lawsuit pops up, we post it. You can
The
go
interesting thing,
right now in the blog section and just scroll down, and you'll see the class action lawsuits.
and the interesting
Yeah.
thing, Carmen, you could go back 20 years and there's been noise in the system about this, but nobody has done anything. And in the US, castor oil, Jamaican castor oil, super popular. And there's I forgot her name. There's a young woman from Jamaica, I think lives in Queens or in the Bronx, that had sort of built that market, and she's super successful. And the question I have for you, Carmen, knowing what you know, and obviously I mentioned my sisters who, 4 or 5 years ago decided to go natural. Why is it that so many other Black women are not taking this journey?
Because it does take work to do natural hair, and a lot of women don't want to do the work. They don't like the way they look. They'll tell you straight up, I don't like the way I look when my hair is natural.
Mm.
Is that a symptom of, I forgot who put it on, she was started at 8, where in Jamaica you use the, what do they call it, the you put the thing in the fire,
Crescent comb.
I am cool.
iron comb, where
Yeah.
you sort of start there, straightening the ear here, and then you go from there.
Yeah.
So to, I don't know who, if it was Michelle that says she started at 8. So to your point, now when you're grown, you're like, you can't see yourself differently. And I wonder how we change that narrative. And I think amplifying your story, and I think telling the stories of entrepreneur like yourself, I think it's gonna help. And hopefully we could scale this so we don't have, women like yourself that are going through these illnesses because of all these products that are out there.
It's a European standard of beauty that is put on us that we haven't put on ourselves.
Mm.
It's put on us. We didn't put it on ourselves.
And
So
and,
there,
and,
so
and, uh,
go,
one
go
thing,
on.
and I think it's been amplified, Carmen, in what you said around the fact that our kids are on Instagram. They're on, so they see this filtered of what beauty look like, and
Mhm.
now they want to look like, and and that's why I'm a big believer. I made sure my kids didn't have a cell phone until they were 13 years old. And it's for that reason, because the science has shown that if you delay that, they're able to process things more. And even my 18-year-old son, for example, you can't get him on the phone. He has a phone, but he doesn't really use it, right? And I think we have to get more of that in our society, where we're not so wedded to this, and we have to stop giving our 5-year-old, our 3-year-old, and our 6-year-old cell phones.
We give them cell phones to occupy them,
Yeah.
give us time to do whatever it is we're doing.
It's common. Is it a situation whereby, just like how you just said a while ago, we give them the mobile phone to keep them okay because we can't bother? It is like when it comes on to the hair as well. We can't bother. So you offload it to the hairdresser. The hairdresser now can't bother to go into the depths of getting the right thing. The Asian man just provides, just give it to
Cheap
them. Everybody just want an easy life there, and that is
and
what.
cheap.
So therefore, the psyche of it is now they found the jinx. They found how to get it, and that's what. So yes, I can understand the uphill challenge that you'll have to do now, but I believe that in light of the dynamics of this era, we sometimes find ourselves in the 9 day wonder again, whereby after a while it just dropped. But it seems to be that the education coming will have to keep continuing and keep um and try to mobilize and motivate those in the black hair industry, because I've said it of recent days. My one of my latest guests who passed away was Mr. Tony Wade. It was with that group Dyken Dryden. They coined the Afro hair industry,
Mhm.
and they were going at it full on. But it seemed like I believe even the Afro hair show now in the UK is owned by Asians.
I believe it, because we have to understand, we tend to not value the
Mm,
one thing that serves us most. We don't value it. And
mm,
so because we don't value it, and another person sees an opportunity, They just come in and they take it, and we let them. We allow them.
Mm.
I I I I cannot tell you how entrenched I am. I'm going back to school for trichology. That's just
Yeah.
how determined I am to try and change this industry to the best of my ability.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have. Sorry, go on, Odin. Yeah.
But how much? Because obviously in Jamaica you have different sort of hair products. You have um, there's one I forgot the spa in Kingston and Hope Road. They do a skin product. How much do you all collaborate? Because sometimes I get the feeling, Carmen, is like we have this crab in a barrel mentality where we're not willing to help our sisters and brothers around the corner. While the Asians, you open a store, all of a sudden people are trying to tear you down. How are you seeing the embracement of that community in Jamaica that is in the same industry as you?
Hmm, that's a very interesting question. And I'm going to answer it this way. I know it's there, but I don't see it because I don't personally entertain it.
Mm.
And I believe that when you resist something, it will persist. So because I don't even give it
Ear,
oxygen,
Earplay. Yeah.
Mhm.
I just keep doing what I'm doing.
Can I just ask Michelle, who just came in? Michelle, what do you want to ask Carmen?
Well, I want to know the name of the product. You have to put it in the link.
Yeah, Zippora. Okay, I will put that
Yeah, put it in the
information.
link so
Yeah,
I can. And I'm
yeah.
loving it. I'm loving everything that I'm hearing. I've been natural for 26 years now. I cut all my hair off, and I had long hair. I decided I used to go to beautician just like you every week, every Friday evening. I'm in
Mm.
my beautician shop. And one day I decided, I said, no, enough is enough. When I added up all the money yearly, I said, oh no. And I went in and I said, Cindy, I want it bald. And she's like, what? I said, take it all off. And that's it. And this is where I wear my hair from ever since, 26 years now. And I'm loving it. I get up in the morning, brush, and I go. And that's it.
And I love that you got to a point where you came to that. I think that the extra piece that I would add for me is when I recognized how my hair care routine was affecting my body. So
Mm,
mine expressed itself through a brain tumor
mhm,
and
mm.
fibroid.
Yeah.
Sometimes women are living with things and they don't even realize they're
They don't
living
even realize it. Yeah, that is
because
true. That is true.
it has
But
an
I wasn't one that perm my hair. My daughter doesn't. My daughter's 39. She has no perm in her hair. I have a 19-year-old granddaughter. She has no perm in her hair. So what they do now is they just flat iron it out.
Mhm,
No chemical. It's just flat iron, and that's it. And my sisters are older than me, and my mom used to press their hair.
mhm.
It was the hot comb, the pressing comb that burned them
Right.
and everything like that, and that. But my first perm I got was at in 11th grade, and I snuck and got it done. My mom wasn't even aware that I went to New
Mm.
York and got my hair done, got a perm, my first perm.
And
But
what's
after a
interesting,
while,
not everyone, and I wish, my mom had enough, oh gosh, enough time and enough um, patience to not do it to me. I think she did it because she felt, because I had you talking about long hair. I got some
mm-hmm,
thick long hair,
mm-hmm,
even
mm-hmm,
now, and it's natural.
mm-hmm.
But I think that my mom just she had three girls, and it was just like I
Mm.
was the last one. It was like I
Three
can't
of
do.
us too, three girls, and
And
my
so
mom is a nurse. She
I
was a
think
nurse, and she found
right.
she
I think
we
that we have to first of all embrace our beauty.
Yeah.
the
That's
thing
really
is
what
that
it comes
black
down
people defines black here as European. They define us as European. That's how you want the straight look and the this look, European look. That's not our look. That is
That's
not
never
our look.
gonna look.
So I
Not,
don't.
notice what Simone Johnson said. My hair was pressed so straight that people mistook me for Indian.
I'm telling you. And that's the mindset that we have, that a lot of men and women, they judge us, they define us as European, with that European look, the straight hair and all. That's not our hair.
It's a
We have
European
curly hair.
standard of beauty. I've had women in Jamaica say to me, "Well, it's not professional.
What is not professional?
My
You wear
natural
your hair natural.
hair
That's the mindset. That's the mindset that we have.
to go to work because they say it's not professional."
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
So that's where I think education is going to be super important.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're right. We're going to have to, re-education is probably not the word. We're going to have to tell the stories to our grandkids, our kids. And I
Mhm.
think amplifying that story is where we're going to figure out what we define as beauty. And unfortunately, the internet, if you're on social media, they define beauty for us, and our kids are consuming that. Right? I have a
It's
friend right now,
consuming that.
right,
Mhm.
in terms of her kids and what she looks like, because she wants to have a small waist, and the internet is defining it that. And I think the more we could push back, and I think, Carmen, the more we could get deeper into the communities, because sometimes it's a matter of resources. It's a matter of the person who really want to do this can't afford the resources to
And
do
just
it.
like I told you, that study that was done by the Silent Spring Institute,
Yes.
there were rumblings that there was something going on with our hair and our bodies for years.
Mhm.
And you're
Mm.
right. The African, what was it called? The African Holistic Health did a study as
Mm.
well that said, why do African women not have fibroid tumors to the tune of African American women, even women that they've linked to the same tribe? It's something
Yes.
happening in America that's not happening in Africa.
So
And all
yeah.
it was our hair care products, but
Wow.
because no one valued us enough to
Yeah.
fund the study, it took them 11 years to do the study. So for those 11 years, can you imagine how many women suffered with endometriosis and fibroids and breast tumors and ovarian cysts and brain tumors, because for 11 years nobody cared enough to
So
fund.
Carmen, yeah. So Carmen, what you actually try is this on your blog? You got this information on your blog as well, yes? Okay, no problem. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the website is there, ZIPPORAH You can actually um go on it and you can see as much information. Carmen,
But that's something big. I'm
yeah,
sorry. That's
go
something
on, go
big
on,
here in
yeah.
the US too, that they're talking about this lawsuit against these hair products. A lot of black women are going on that lawsuit thing, because I heard about it. I heard
Yes,
about
yes, yeah.
But the thing about me, when I went natural, I thought about the finance. I guess I wasn't feeling any effect, then, but it was my finance that I was like, I'm spending too much.
Yeah, yeah.
No, cut it off.
Carmen, your plans for the future, because you got a plan on Monday. Can you let us know what's your plan now? Because you are here in the UK, you were with the minister, met a lot of you guys, and you actually want to target the UK now. What's the stepping process now? The next step, the next phase for this to happen.
Listen, as we used to say, in radio.
Big up, wagwan. I don't know if that's what it is.
Exactly.
Only used to do it. Only used to the DJ. What is the word? Warm and easy,
Listen,
ladies and gentlemen. Sorry.
we are going to be at Posh Tatoes in Brixton launching our product. I'm so excited about it because we literally have over, I think, 50 individuals that have RSVP'd or let us know that they're coming to this launch party. We're going to be giving away free product. We're going to have we're going to be doing demos. We're going to answer questions. We're going to just big this whole thing up. You cannot miss it. You got all roads lead to Brixton. I'm not
Yes.
playing. This is it. This is it. This is it. We've
Well, we
got
need some all roads leading to the US. What's going on with that?
Well, we got it. We're a small company, so what we're trying to do is do this right. We've got promotional opportunities already set up. We've gotten a great push from the Jamaican government to help us with this project.
Okay.
So we're just excited. Posh Potatoes is in Brixton. I know I sent you the flyer for that.
Actually, I didn't actually get the flyer. Did you send it to me?
Did you get the flyer
But
for that?
it's 382. If you ping it to me, if there's any way you can WhatsApp it to me, I can always put it up as well.
And
But
then
it's 380. Go on, Oneil, yeah,
no, go get the info, and then I'll.
yeah.
You were
But what
saying
I can go ahead, Oneil, while we
382 what? Sylbourne. 382 what?
location.
382 Collab Lane.
Okay.
Okay, in Brixton.
Yeah. Yeah. in
What time?
Brixton. You come,
What time?
It
5
starts
p.m.
at 5
5 to
p.m.
9.
5 to 9.
Okay, that's good. So Carmen, I'm in Jamaica from the 14th to the 20th. I'll get you info from Sylbourne, and then we'll connect.
Sure, we're easy to find. We're off Red Hills Road in the Cassia Park area. Beautiful studio there. We do hair there as well.
Yeah, I can get my hair done.
Sure, come on by. We'll massage
My barber who doesn't do my hair anymore. He said, "Listen, man, I can work miracles, man. I can do some stuff. I can put on hair on your head."
Maybe Carmen could get a product that grow my hair back.
Hey, we may be able to do something.
I thought that was a choice, Oneil.
We're testing.
It's not a choice.
Things. We're testing some things right now, so we're excited about it. We're testing.
No, I'll definitely come visit you. I have some ideas,
Wonderful.
especially in the US, and I think I could sort of help you scale.
So tell us, yes. So tell us, what is the message that you would like to? Because I've also shared this with a few people who are involved in the hair industry in London, the black hair industry. What is the message that you like to say to them? If you're gonna,
Well, our slogan is "Fall in love with your natural hair." That's our slogan.
what is it? Sorry.
Fall in love with your natural
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And what about the collaboration, if anything? What are you saying also to those? Because as Oneil said, one can actually look at it as if to say one is a competitor or one is a collaborative factor to sort of build something with the hair education. And that's a bit which I'm very interested in, the hair education, where people actually fall in love with their natural hair.
We're black people, black women.
Black people, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. A part of the education is to try give your hair a choice. You're not giving it a choice when you relax it or you perm it or cream it or whatever you call it.
Yes.
You don't give it a choice.
I don't even dye mine. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 59. I embrace my gray. I don't even dye.
Don't do it. And that's another thing. A lot of women
Well, I'm sure all the people's hair. Everybody has hair.
You gotta allow your hair to be what God intended it to be. And you'll be surprised how much you enjoy your hair. You'll enjoy it. You just gotta allow it to be what it
I
is.
enjoy mine. I enjoy it.
I can tell, honey.
Okay. Well, listen. Any last word, Carmen? Unless you want to go and talk about ChatGPT and AI, artificial intelligence.
No. I thank you for this opportunity.
Yes.
Please come out and join us at Posh Potatoes. For those of you in the US, we are on Amazon. You can order it right now and get it tomorrow. It's just
sorry, Oneil.
Social media. Are you on Instagram?
Yes,
X,
we're on Instagram,
Can you
TikTok.
Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
TikTok, and we have a YouTube channel as well, and Twitter.
And can I? Yeah. And can I just clarify? Once they go onto ZIPPORAH they can find all the links there for your different social media angles. And ZIPPORAH is the keyword, isn't it? That is on everything as well.
Yes.
Okay, and as you can see, I'm scrolling it across the screen there, ZIPPORAH and definitely I'll be doing some work with yourself. Because one of the things that I wanted to make sure is that, and the interesting thing also, Carmen, just say this, because I met so many Jamaicans at the event there. You know, it's good to go to the High Commission. You know, you got a lot of Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee there as well, which I got. It was a Marley coffee, but
And
some
we
of the,
all work together. Let me tell you something. I
yeah,
was pleased. Everyone was rooting for everybody. All of
yes,
us
yes,
businesses. There was a couple of us who were in the same space. There's another, Honey Vera was the other cosmetic company like myself that made shampoos and soaps and things like that. We were
yes.
all working together to help somebody. One of us needs to make it. That's how
That
we felt, you know. So we were really
yeah.
working together to support each
and
other.
and that was very interesting as well. And I'll mention these. So listen, have a good night and say hi to Manny.
I did.
Manny
He's
and,
waiting for me downstairs.
yeah, Manny is my virgin man from years ago. You know, it's interesting, isn't it? I know Manny when I came to the UK, and then all of a sudden Manny was there and Sylbourne. From 1993 I met Manny. Listen, Carmen, thank you very much. We wish you all the success, and we are here to help you with the education as well to empower people to greatness.
Thank you, Sylbourne, Michelle, O'Neill. Thank you so much. And I look
Thank
forward to
Bye.
seeing you, O'Neill. And don't
you.
forget, if you're in the US,
And I'll
Starbucks,
be ordering. I'll
yep,
be ordering.
Amazon. And if you can't find it, go to our website. If you click on it, it'll take you straight to Amazon. Whatever.
Okay. Sylbourne, I don't see the name up here.
What is there? Zipporah hair and skin.com. It's scrolling across. Don't worry, Michelle. You got me. I
Oh,
can. It's
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's scrolling
yeah.
across.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Bye,
Bye
guys.
bye.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Cheers. Bye bye. Bye. Okay. Well, thanks so much for Carmen for coming on tonight, and it was a very interesting discussion. But I just want to say that of the different persons that I met there was Boss Consulting, Zipporah Hair, their business card here. I met um, a gentleman from Pat Group, Peter Mode, CEO, very interesting character, Emmanuel Kuye. There was also a Mr. I'm not sure if that was from it there. There was also someone from Bauxite Company, which was there as well. Yeah, the Bauxite. Yeah, what they're doing, they are creating or selling off some of the bits from Reynolds Bauxite. Because of course they're not bauxiting anymore. So Donna Marie Howe, she's based in Jamaica as well at Reynolds Pier. Um, and also there's a company called Nuff Soups that was there. Claudine Harrison. They want to bring soup into the UK as well. Jamaican soup, you know. Enid Williams, she's from Jampro as well. And the gentleman from Caribbean Council, Christopher Griffiths, and Katie and Jonas, the technical assistant to Mr. Auburn Hill, and my interview with him will come out shortly, where we discuss an open day. Well, Ani, what's your take on the discussion that we just had with Carmen there, and the whole aspect of creating this new?
No, she's creating a product. The product has a story, authenticity, all the element I think where she could be successful
Yes.
of sort of pushing this product in the UK, in the US, and other places. And they always say, if you create a product to solve your problem, other people will come, right? And I think
Yes.
this is where she's seen a lot of success. And I love the fact that she's trying to educate Black, African American, Black British around hair and hair products that, for centuries, for decades, we've been taught what good hair looked like. I remember someone was telling me they did a Brazilian blowout or whatever they call it. And they were telling me they use formaldehyde. And but formaldehyde is what you use to do embalmment. So imagine the same product they use to do embalming is the same thing they're using in your hair, right? So I think her sort of journey of educating folks, and I think if we could rally around her to help her product grow, I think we should do that, because I always say sometimes we blacks are our worst enemies. We don't support each other. I actually just went on our website and bought all of her products. So I can give it away. So I think we have to do more of that where we could do this. And I tell you, one of the things I do at work every Christmas, I actually buy, everybody buy a gift basket. I actually go and buy a Jamaican gift basket of all the things that we have. And the interesting thing, many of my colleagues that I've given those baskets have become customers because they love the product so much, right? So I think we have to do more and more of that where don't follow the cookie cutter, right? Let's go give it to our sisters as gifts, right? So and I think that's how we're going to support it. So I think the fact that she's pushing it, she has a story, and obviously you could tell she's a businesswoman, and I got to give her a ton of kudos for pushing it, growing the business to where it is in the US, going into Mexico, on other places. I think she could have tremendous success with this product. And
Oneil, and Oneil, the key point you said is that she's got a story as well. A story, and that story I believe will actually resonate a lot with people. And a lot of people, when they hear a story, they say, "Oh my days, that has been happening to me too." Wow, and it will spark something, Michelle, that people will actually, because one has got to move away from the easiness and the quickness of doing things, you know what I mean, and really go for it big time. But listen, Michelle, let's just talk about this quickly. You mentioned something about a young boy in Jamaica. What was? You can't hear me? You gone, Michelle? I think
yeah, we can't hear Michelle.
We can't hear. She's gonna come back soon. Oneil, AI, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, the big thing of the century, where everybody said the devil has come for us.
Well, it all depends on what vantage point. And then I'm gonna try to. So if you think about artificial intelligence, I always say there's nothing artificial. It's where you have system computers are doing tasks such as reasoning that are sort of human in nature, right? So how you create that digital technology that you could leverage to do automation. So a lot of it has to do with automation. For example, you're seeing it. A simple thing. You're in the UK. You have Tesco. We have CVS. You have self checkout. If you think of before, you used to have someone who will check what you bought out. So the world is sort of gone, and the whole body of artificial intelligence, Sylbourne, is not new. Marvin Minks and others found this term back, I think it's 1955. It's just that now we have more data. We have more sensors, and we have more computing power. So now we're able to automate a lot of the things that we do, right? If you call your bank, a simple example for folks who bank is when you call your bank back in the day, someone will pick up the phone. Now you have a digital agent that's actually going through the whole process for you. And I think, the whole, Gen AI, generative AI, where you could create content from a corpus of knowledge that the system has been trained on, where you could ask questions called prompting. You could say, tell me what the GDP of Jamaica was in XYZ, and is able to give you that sort of a knowledge base. As if, the difference where Google, you go and search that in Google, you get links that you click on and you have to read. Now, when you go and use, ChatGPT is one, they're from OpenAI, but you have Claude, you have Llama from Facebook. But I think this is my biggest thing for our Black community. This should be our moment. There's a whole dystopian thought around AI is going to take us over. I'm not a believer in that. I believe it's going to make us much more, augmented reasoning. It's going to sort of, if you have a 90 IQ, it's going to take you to the next level. I use it, for example, you and I have talked about it, where I could go into Claude, which is a version of a generative AI, and I could say, summarize this book and give me these chapters. You have people who are using Gen AI, for example, writing books, where the first draft for you. So So I think we have to embrace these technology because Sylbourne, what I worry is that we don't embrace it and we get left behind.
You get left behind.
I've been a big proponent for years, and people didn't like what I was saying.
Yeah.
I used to say, it's like we should stop talking about teaching black kids coding and teach them AI, because that is how we're going to get right. We're teaching something that, yeah, it was 10, 15, 20 years ago.
It's getting outdated now. It's outdated.
So let's make sure our black kids are learning AI. And that's why I started a program, for example, 4 years ago, Sylbourne, and I call it the 4IR, where I started with 3 schools in the greater Washington area. And it's teach black kids AI. It's a 2 weeks program. And we have all these kids that come in with mentorship. We teach them AI ethics. We teach them about AI. So they have these tools, and then they're able to go and then come up with ideas, and they present those ideas, and then we help them scale those ideas within our community. So I think AI is here to stay. I would say for anyone listening, go get a perspective on it. It's not going to replace your job. It's going to augment your job. I use a term people call augmented intelligence, but I said augmented reasoning, because now you're able to do it much more efficient and much more effective. Think of the doctors, right? Healthcare application, where now you go to the doctor, they have all the information because they have this intelligent agent that is able to help them collect all the data around your symptoms, and now you can get the proper treatment. All these things, you're seeing it. You're seeing it across the board. You're seeing it in the Fortune 100, the Fortune 500. Every aspect of our industry is being disrupted by it. Agriculture, yeah, farmers are using it to say when I should water my crop, when I should plant.
Wow.
All of these insights you're getting that that we need to embrace it. And the good thing with artificial intelligence, there's no experts, Sylbourne. We're all learning.
Oneil, yeah. Can I just ask a question then? In America recently, there was the writers' strike, which is now off, isn't it? It's finished now, isn't it? Do you know the background of what happened there? Because they were threatened, or they felt threatened by AI and all those sort of things. Am I correct?
Yeah, there was it's sort of the whole discussion around. So say, for example, if you're signed by an agent and they're paying you X amount of money a year, the question, who owns the content that you produce, right? And how do you monetize that? There's a thought process that says, if I sign Sylbourne for $20 million a year, I own Sylbourne digital image, so that means I could monetize it. I own sort of all the content you create because I'm paying you for that. Yeah. And I think the writers said, we have to be part of that monetary, and as you monetize it, we have to get a cut of it, right?
Yes.
If you go back to the last strike, which I think was 1980, someone needs to check me on that. Coming out of that was sort of the residual income, right? Because remember, back in the day, that's why Bill Cosby today still make money off of all the Bill Cosby show, was because they were saying that after these sitcoms are off the television and you have rerun, all these actors and actresses are now making money off of it. So I think you're seeing it where AI, you could write script with AI, you could write music with AI. So I think it's more on embracing, and I think the creative process becomes much, much easier. And I'll give you a simple example. A good friend of mine in Texas is a lawyer, and they've embraced generative AI, and their briefs that used to take them 3-4 weeks, now they're doing prompting, and it's taken 2-3 hours to write these briefs. So now they're much more effective. So now I could do 10 cases.
It's right? a cheat tool.
Exactly. So I think it's much more on the efficiency that you're going to gain from it, Sylbourne.
Can't hear you.
Sorry, yes. My apologies, yes. I was just pointing towards TikTok because someone said, but it's info you put into it, isn't it?
Yeah,
yes.
Go ahead, Michelle.
No, you
Michelle,
go ahead.
No, so the whole thing, you have to train the model.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you have to use data to train the model.
Yeah.
You hear about the base models. You have these open source models. So you have to train the model. So the data you put in there, yes, but there are mechanisms around governance, around biases that you could ensure that
Yeah.
are not part of the output. So for example, people talk about hallucination drifting out of models, where it's giving you things that you think are facts. For example, in New York, I think it was a couple of months ago, where a lawyer created a brief, and the cases that were cited are fictitious cases, right? So it's more around how do you make sure you're not lazy and you're checking, because it's giving you an output. It's an augmented
Oh,
reasoning. So
Yes.
you have to be able to say, that's not right. So it's a prompting around the whole generative AI. So yes, there is a lot of sort of heightened around bias in AI, because you remember, we're using AI for sentencing, we're using AI for loans, we're using all this. So we have to make sure that yes, that data that has that bias intrinsic in it, as we are sort of using it for these different use cases, we're ensuring there's proper governance around that to prevent that.
Michelle, what's your take on AI? And I would like to hear feedback from persons on TikTok and Instagram and also Facebook as well.
we have to get into it because I was just saying to my daughter last week, I have
Yeah.
my grandson is 12 years old and he does editing. He's on TikTok. He does his own editing and all that kind of stuff. And I'm saying to her, well, we have to get him into a computer science class for him to start learning
Yeah.
it, doing those things, because this is what's happening now, So we can't shy away from it because it's coming. It's happening. So what you do, you get into it and learn it. And
Mm.
there's nothing that we could do. It's coming. It's here already,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the reason why we have to embrace it, Sylbourne, if you look at the areas that most of the Black and brown people, is services industries. Think of the BPO industry in Jamaica, right? When you call customer services, they're answered by people in Jamaica. Well, you could
Yes.
look 5 years from now that I don't need that amount of people to answer the phones anymore, because I could use these chatbots, right? That you're interacting. So now, to Michelle's point, we have to learn. You're seeing it in the checkouts where we're automating all of that processes. If you go to a supermarket 10, 15 years ago, you have a bank of cashiers,
Yeah.
right? Now you might have 4 cashiers and you have 10 self-checkout.
Self-check.
So it's coming, and this is why we need to embrace it, because a lot of us are in the services business. And if we don't, we're going to be impacted. So we could sit around and don't embrace it and say, what next?
You're
Or
going
we
to be left behind. You're going to be
Exactly.
left behind.
Exactly.
Well,
When the self-check first came out,
yeah.
I was against it. I didn't used to go to self-check because I was like, they're taking people's job away. No, I'm going to the cashier and let them cash me out,
Yeah.
So
Takes you 30
after a
minutes.
while, but then after a while, you like,
You know, I'll talk to the money.
self-check.
Well, somebody just said here, my daughter's 8. She sees me using ChatGPT. ChatGPT. By the time she's 11, boy, our kids gotta be bosses.
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But Oneil, isn't there a sort of, you just said a while ago, Michelle just said a while ago, there will be you'll be taking away the jobs from person because one is going to be a bit more efficient. And if I read just this briefly, it says AI like ChatGPT has the remarkable ability to streamline tasks and increase efficiency, whether it's healthcare, finance, or customer service. Can perform routine. This frees up valuable human resources to focus on more complex and creative aspects. But when it frees up things, that means to say that there's going to be a lack of need for many persons unless they're tapping into this zone, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, what? Go
Go on,
ahead.
go on.
No,
Go on.
the jobs
O'Neil,
are
you first.
the jobs are going to evolve, right? So if you
Yeah.
sort of go back to the industrial revolution, we had cars. Before you had horse carriage, you have horse, buggy drivers, right? Yes, that industry got disrupted, but it created so many different jobs. And
Yes.
that's what's so important for us to embrace it, to say, how do we augment what we're doing today? You know, I talk about the case in healthcare, right? This is not going to disrupt the doctors. If you go to a doctor today, you know, you have where your doctor probably talked to you for what, 15 minutes?
Yeah, and then they're using
right
for operation, they're using the
10
robot.
minutes. 10 minutes sometimes.
But now, when you have technology such as this, the doctors are able to get all the information and have a much more informed conversation with you. So now the healthcare outcomes can be better. Same thing in classroom. You think about our kids, right? What they're saying, if you have tutoring, you actually are much successful, like 2 or 1 standard deviation when you have tutoring. And if you have personal tutoring, you have 2 standard deviation in terms of the outcomes. Think of every kid in any part of the world, in any corner of Jamaica, that have an intelligent agent that could help them with their homework. Think of what that could do. Think of the fact that you have this knowledge at the tip. You know, if you remember back in the day, when you used to need to do a research paper, what do? You go to encyclopedia, you go to the library, and you write down. We had Google. This is now one step further, where our kids have access to information. Now we have to put the proper safeguards in place, right, to make sure that you're not getting information that is incorrect.
My thing with that is, Oneil, you're not, with all of this coming in, really, we're not using our brains. The kids are not using their brains. If you need to find out everything, you could just go to, you got to know right now. If you tell, I remember growing up, if I had to, like I said, if you had to do a research, you're going in the library, you was taught how to use the library, the catalog, you know how to do your catalog, how to go where. You tell these kids about that now, they don't even know what you're talking about, you know? So I think that in a way, it's kind of a little setback in a way, because they're not using their brain fully, to me.
But the question then, right, and that's a super perspective, Michelle, is, do I need to do that, right? Now I have this intelligent agent.
You need to use your brain. You need to use your brain.
I mean, it's more of, do I need to be able to go do all of that where I could get the information? Do I now need to think of knowledge a little bit different in terms of how you synthesize it, how you put it together? Because I have at my fingertip the ability to get the information. So now we might have to alter how we teach reasoning a little bit different, right? It's like what Sylbourne is here. You could ask, you have ChatGPT, so you have ChatGPT, you have Claude, you have all the different large language models that are out there. That you could do prompting, and you get really interesting information. Now, what we have to teach our kids is to identify when the information is not correct, right? And that's the piece that we have to focus a lot of research in that area. But I believe this is where we talk about equitable outcome, where we now could leverage this across all the spectrum. And I do agree with you, Michelle. We have to figure out how to make sure our brains don't get atrophy, right? And I think this is how we sort of reimagine how we teach, right? Because I always say, if George Washington would come back from the dead and go, the one thing that he will see that's still the same is how we teach our kids. It's a blackboard and people sitting and staring at the blackboard with a teacher, right? So now is the chance to reimagine, and how do we make sure that everyone is getting the same equitable outcome? And I think this is where I see this technology that could help, especially in education.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I've done, and for those on TikTok, on Instagram, you won't be able to see this unless you come onto the YouTube or Facebook channel. I did ask a question: do our children use their brain with the advent of AI? And it says the impact of AI. I went into AI, ChatGPT, and asked a question: the impact of AI on children's brain development and cognitive abilities is a complex and evolving topic. While AI technologies can provide new educational opportunities and tools for children, they also raise important questions and concerns. Enhanced learning opportunities. AI can provide personalized learning experiences, adapt to individual learning style, exposure to information, critical thinking, dependency on passive consumption, privacy and security, and so many things. I think that that adds to your point, Anil, whereby you know it is there taken to another level. One can be lazy, but when you're lazy, it will be evident that you're lazy, isn't it,
O'Neill,
Anil?
he's not there anymore.
Where is it? I think he went on mute for a second there. Um,
Oh, I don't
yeah,
even see him
Michelle.
up in the I don't
No,
even
no,
see him.
no, he's there. I can see him there. Yeah,
Sorry,
Oh,
I'm
he's
going
there.
back. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's right. Yeah. No, I was just finding classical that I actually type in the bit in AI, and it gave me the answers to
Mhm.
say that one can be lazy. Well, I pick it out like this: one can be lazy if they want to be lazy, but actually, it creates another high level of cognitive functioning.
It does, because I use it. For example, if there's books, and I use Claude because I like Claude, and I just say, give me the synopsis of each chapter, right?
Yes.
And if I'm preparing, I could use it to do the first draft, right? You have a lot of journalists that are using it to do first draft. So
Yes.
now, rather than it's me spending 5 6 hours writing, I could get a first draft in minutes, and then I could tweak
Yes.
it. And so to me, it's a much more efficient tool. And it also means that you have to think about it in a little bit different ways. But I think it augment your intelligence much more. It's for example, um, the game of Go, their AlphaGo beat I forgot the name, the guy, the world champion, and it's where it was this move called Move 24. That Go was this 3,000 euros, similar to chess, and it beat the world champion. I think it was 4-1 is what it
Yes.
is. But for the next 5 years, nobody could beat him because he got so good at the game because it opened up much more than he had before. So
Yes.
I believe, Michelle, and others might have different perspective. I believe this will make us much more smarter because we have access to information that we could use for reasoning that we don't have before. So now you and I have to sit down because the brain has, we can't read for 10 hours straight, right? We get fatigued. But what if we have this that could gives us the information that we want, right?
Yeah.
So think of this, for example, you're a CEO of a company and you want to come in the morning and say, tell me what our supply chain risks look like, just with a prompt. And all of a sudden, all that information is at your fingertip to say where that risk is. Now, you could then verify it. But imagine what that could do. Because before, you have to call a meeting, you have to get a dashboard created. Now I could use technologies like this. So now it frees me up to go do more innovative stuff. And I think this is why I think we should embrace it, especially in the Caribbean. Jamaica, I've said this, Sylbourne, I've heard this me say, Jamaica should be the technological hub for the Caribbean, right?
I did mention it too in a question to the minister as well.
And this is where we could get ahead because, Michelle, as I said, there's no expert in this. We're all learning together, right?
Yeah.
So the more we could learn, the more our Black community could embrace this, right? The more we get ideas of how to leverage it in our communities. I call it the cell phone moment, where, if you go back to Jamaica, I use it as an example, or Africa, where it used to take you 10 years, 8 years to get a landline in your house. And all of a sudden, you could go a street and get a cell phone, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing now where you have access to information. You have people in different parts of the world that now have access to this tool that, to me, it just lifts us all up in terms of our intelligence and our ability. And I'm super excited about it. Yes, the dystopian view of it is going to kill you. It's like, I don't put any stock into that.
Yes.
Because I do believe it's just like the internet. When the internet was created, right? Everybody said, you could do it. Yes. But I think majority of people could say, think of the connection. Think of Facebook, right? Think of how you connected with people in Jamaica. Think of how you found people who you've not seen for 20 years. They popped up on Facebook, right? So to me, generative AI is here to stay. We have to embrace it in a way that we have not embraced technology as a community. And if we don't, what will happen is that everybody else is building tools. It's like what we just talked about with the hair products, where someone else is building things that you're consuming. Someone is building the tools that are doing sentences of people in our community, right? We have to be part of the story. So when these tools are being built, we have a seat at the table and our input is there. So I think we have to embrace it.
Here. I don't think we
How
can
about the
dispute with
electric
that.
cars? What do you feel about that, Oneil?
You mean like the
Electric
Jetsons? Like the Jetsons?
Electric cars.
You should say the Jetsons, actually.
Oh, you mean you said what you said about electric cars?
Yeah, what do you think? How what's your take on it?
So it's interesting because I don't think we have thought through it. Obviously, there's issues around climate that we have to pay attention to.
Mhm.
The question is, how do we fix it? Because I think, if you just, the people are buying electric cars could afford to go charge it, right? I think the infrastructure is not there yet. I think eventually we have to figure out how to get there. Batteries technology is huge.
Yeah.
I don't
Parts
see
and all that. Parts is hard.
Yeah, and it's hard it depends on where you live in the country.
Exactly.
And then you take a middle class person who's living paycheck to paycheck. They could go buy $10 worth of gas and drive for 2 days. They could buy $20 worth of gas. I remember back in the day when I used to I could buy $5 worth of gas because I know it's going to last me for this amount.
That was then when gas was 97 cents.
Right, exactly. But now if you have $20, you don't have to fill the tank. Now you're charging. What you're going to do? Charge a little bit and then you drive.
Yeah.
At least I could run to a gas station and get a little thing and come back. Now when you have this sort of EV, it's there. People are going to buy it.
Yeah, my daughter have one.
I see the hybrid. I see, 10 years from now, we're going to have more EV cars, but we have to fix the infrastructure.
You have to fix it because if you want to take a long trip, say you want to go on a family road trip, you have to be stopping and charging and stopping, and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I think it's going to be there. I'm a big fan of nuclear energy. I think we should embrace nuclear energy. There's a lot of new technology being developed and innovation in that space. And then, it's what turns worth into wealth. To me, now is the best time for our people to leverage technology to drive wealth, right? If you think of the business people have, sort of developed on Instagram, on Facebook, right? Now is the time for us to monetize, where now you could go write a book. There's a guy actually who's writing books using generative AI, right? So now the things that you want to do, you're able to do it. And I think this is how we embrace and create generational wealth. And this is how we as a Black community to come together one of the first time and say, you know what, let's embrace this technology. Let's build technology that our people could use, because we understand our community more than anybody else. And I think the more we could educate our kids around the technology, how to use it, how to leverage it, I think you're going to see a lot of wealth being created from this. But we have to be willing to embrace it. We have to be willing to do the work and think through how you could help. Think of healthcare in Jamaica. Think of healthcare in different places. Think of agriculture. Think of transportation. Think of all these sectors that we could drive efficient, and banking, right? All these things that we could leverage AI to do.
Yeah.
We should embrace it and drive, as hard as we can. Because again, there's no one cohort that owns this technology.
Yeah.
Right? There's no experts.
Yeah.
There's few, and we could become experts.
Oneil, based on the podcast series that we plan to do, I think we got to maybe coin this bit here, the business creation era. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why I see it as the business creation era, which is going to be something which is very profound. Just after we spoke to our good colleague earlier today about the hair industry, about ChatGPT, and do you notice something here? We have been talking a lot on Jamaica.
So hold on,
And,
hold on, hold
yeah,
on.
yeah.
You,
Go
you,
on it. Yeah, yeah,
so think of the fact now
yeah,
where Carmen, she was starting out. She has to develop a business plan. She has to
yes,
develop a
yeah,
marketing plan. She has to figure out financing. Think of
yeah,
having a tool
AI.
like this, AI, that I could go and say, how do I develop a plan? What is
yes.
my target market? Where can
Mhm.
I find financing? Right now, all of a sudden, you have this tool in your hand that any person could go interrogate, just like
Yeah,
what I just mentioned, create a business plan, a marketing plan, get
that is
some
perfect.
financing.
And you just tweak it to you. You tweak,
Exactly.
right.
Yeah. So
So sorry.
the sky is unlimited right there. I think
Yeah.
only all I was really trying to say was bringing that together to say that it all depends on where the focus is, because for a long time we have been sort of focusing on the all these sort of negative and these political things and division, but really and truly, whether that person is in power or not, the business aspect will still flow and still happen, irrespective of who is in power or so, and it is so important that we really focus at this time. Is a key, I call it exponential season for great achievements within the black community. Because I tell you this, no disrespect, but you know, upon reading a lot of things, even on my TikTok over the few weeks or the week with what's happening in the UK here, there's a mentality and a perception they have of the black community. But you don't have to absorb that. We just have to seize that moment and just carry on with things, but don't really follow it, because the narrative. Someone said to me the other day, he wrote a book, and I said to him, "There's a perception that if you keep it in the book, black people are not going to read it." And he said, "Well, just open it."
Yeah.
That's what Homeboy White said. Just open it. I'm going to send you the interview I did with him. Just open it, Sylbourne. I'm a journeyman. Just open it. And I think we're going to change up all these narratives. Yeah.
No, I think we definitely have to. We have to sort of chart our own journey and our own destiny,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Yes.
We
Yes.
And
cannot
work together. And work
exactly,
together.
exactly.
Yes.
We could either live in victimhood for the rest of our lives, or
Exactly.
we can figure out how to then create and use that as fuel. And I'm a big fan of Nelson Mandela, and he always says, and I think I said it before, you know, you don't lose. You either win or you learn, right? And I think we have to figure out what and how we leverage sort of his thinking around the journey he went through, and yet still had a vision of where he wants to take South Africa. And I think we have to do that as a people. Where do we want to go 10 years from now? Where do we want to go 5 years from now? How do we embrace the technology? Yes, we can't forget the past, right? We
Mm.
can't have the past become an anchor on our own necks, right? We have to leverage it, use it as a fuel. But I think in this era of automation and AI, we have to embrace it. We have to figure out how to leverage it for our Black community to build wealth that we've never seen. We had the Black Wall Street back in the day, right? We should use this to be the next Black Wall Street for us, because I do believe if we embrace it at mass, if we figure it out, if we help each other's, to Michelle's point, I think the sky is the limit. But if we do the next thing and get caught up in the dystopia that it's going to kill you, it's going to do this, it's going to do that, then we're left behind. And 10 years from now, we're having the same conversation around how do we create wealth in our Black community.
And that is when something new comes on,
Yeah,
because we miss the boat at the same time.
exactly.
Mhm.
Well, listen. That was powerful, Anil, and I think it's a good way to sort of close down for tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, it has been a very empowering and uplifting show, discussing the whole bit about black hair and Carmen Thomas, Hope Thomas. She brings that hope in it,
Yeah,
to say how she's bringing it into the UK, and that is really powerful. And about AI, Chat GPT, and I think we're on the threshold of something great. And I'm a person that don't really see um, negative things too much. That is, I think that is because of walking in the park in the morning and playing around with dogs and listening to birds, you know. But Michelle, before we go any further, I just want to you wanted to say something, Michelle, about something in Jamaica. I know it might be a sad moment, but you said about a boy, something happened in
Yeah,
Jamaica.
the little boy in I forget which parish, the school, and
Yeah,
he must be was in the lunchroom or something like that, and he was getting ready to move off, and he tripped or something and stepped on another little boy's clocks. Stepped
oh
on a little
shoot,
boy clocks, and the
yeah,
other boy punched him in the eye. He fell. He punched him in the other eye, hit his head, and then he just started stomping on him. And I heard the guards was there and nobody reported it. It's his friends that had to take him up and walk him
yeah.
down the road. Did you see it, O'Neill?
No, I didn't.
I
And
just when
walk
you
with
when
them,
you
and
mentioned,
it's they like five of them had to lift up this little youth and walk with the little youth down the street. And up until now, I haven't seen an adult approach them. An adult tried to help. Nothing. Tears came to my eyes because I couldn't believe it.
It's
And
it just
now, and oh, and he's unconscious, and there's no CT scan in the hospital. Them can't
oh
find
wow,
no CT scan. Horrible. It's
it,
horrible.
mm,
it just tells you it's sort of what we talked about at the start of how do you manage your emotions, right? The fact that this young man think his clocks is much more
It's
valuable
more
than human
than a
being,
life. Than
right?
life.
And it just tells you
mm,
what are we teaching our kids, and it's a moment in time where we have to start reflecting on our society and ask ourselves what kind of society do we want, right? How do we get back sort of the humanity? How do we get back
This
to
one.
our kids understanding that you got to control your emotion, and the sanctity of life is one of the most important things that we could ever think about. And the fact that someone stepped on your Clarks and you're going to stomp them, why? Right? And to
Why?
Sylbourne's point was, we have to dive deeper in the psyche of these individuals and ask the important question: what were you thinking while you punched this kid and step on him because
yeah,
he touched your clocks? What
Mhm.
was the thought process? Because if we don't understand that behavior, we can't come up with how we solve for it.
Yeah.
yes, yes. And
Yeah.
only it brings that same question as to why would that guy take up a machete, a knife, because the girl said no to him?
Exactly.
Why did he actually take up that knife? So therefore, okay, you know, may she rest in peace. Condolences to the family, but we need to dissect that mindset. Why? Because if that is the case with him, maybe there are tons of other boys who
Out
think
there.
the same way. And only the point we mentioned about we're talking a lot about COVID. Is it a period where there's a breaking moment where I'm just used to my games. I'm playing my games. Bam, bam, bam. They don't know anything to do about dispute resolution. What is
Exactly.
wrong if she says no?
Exactly. What they don't realize is that you
Wow.
can start over when the game ends. Yes, you can start over, but you can't start over that life. That life
Mhm.
is gone.
And then
Yes.
it goes back to the parents too, because it's what you are instilling in your kid.
Yeah.
Because if the guy who stopped the little boy for some clock sneakers, I mean, what kind of parents you have? And the first thing he said to, what kind of parents you have for you for even have the mindset to do something like that?
Yeah.
Or Michelle, it's parents are. This is the parent now.
Yes, yes. But listen, my grandson, my daughter checks his phone, checks everything. She does that, go through the phone to see what's what. And we take it away from him at times. You got to put down that iPod, put it down, and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff because you got to monitor them. And it's
Yeah.
just like, I think from ever since COVID, everybody, Brian, you're finding so many teenagers is getting, so many teenagers now are having mental issues. Plenty
Yes.
teenager you see now in the US that's having mental issue.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Well,
from ever since COVID. It's like COVID just I don't know.
yeah. Well, we you know, we all have to do something, and for to find strategic solutions. And but I believe strongly that we need to find the psyche and the mentality of these guys. You know. Well, anyway, Michelle, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight. We want to finish 12
Hi
on that.
guys.
And Oneil, thank you so much for coming as usual. And the that sort of should I say that preliminary training on AI, because we'll have to maybe do some practical thing at some point.
We'll
I
do
will
a
get,
podcast. We'll get a very specific set of podcasts that
yeah,
will talk about AI in the Black community and how we could embrace generative AI, large language model, make it much more actionable, because we have to, just like we talk about it here, we have to now embrace technology in a way. It's not just using your phone. There's a way you can create wealth from it. So
yeah.
we're going to put some stuff out there and hopefully folks consume it.
Okay,
All
fantastic.
right, guys. Bye.
All right,
Have a good night.
Bye bye, Oneil. Thank you so much. Cheers. Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight. Those on TikTok, those on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. What can I say? Very interesting evening. Very informative. Very educative. What should I say? Edutational, if that's what the right word is say. And I believe the discussion with Miss Carmen Hope Thomas of ZIPPORAH Hair and Skin sort of set the tone, whereby one has to look for solutions and not see the problems. One can always see the problem, but the solution is so very crucial and so very key. And we have learned a lot about even within the black hair industry, and how she wants to, and she is a part of the solution. May not be the answer, but everyone can be a part of the solution. And she's got a story. And you need to check her out on her site as well, ZIPPORAHhair.com. You can go onto the website and you can replay and watch a show to see that we had a very interesting discussion on AI, ChatGPT, and the new way forward. Is it making you lazy, or is it making you a bit more creative? I mean, I remember one time, there was no car, and then they became a car. There was no plane, they became a plane, and then all of a sudden things become easier. So therefore, is this a new era? Could it be that after a while, no one is going to be writing, maybe signing? I mean, we're getting email these days, documents which are not signed literally, but signed with some sort of strategic way. When you do insurance, is it a new way? Is it a new order whereby the creative energy, will it make us lazy? Many people say. Will it make us lazy? It is now 12 o'clock. Then, how are you? 12 o'clock midnight UK time. Just wrapping up now. Will it make you lazy? I think no. But if you want to be lazy, you can be lazy. That's the whole thing. And sorry about the young man in Jamaica who got beaten up because of his clocks, stepping on someone's clocks. And what triggers? Why would a boy, want to hurt another boy because of a clock's beauty? Why? Why would a boy want to kill his girlfriend? Well, kill a girl, or take a machete to want to hurt a young lady because she says no? Where did he get that from? I'm referring to what happened in the UK where they killed that young girl. But hey, once we got life, there's hope, and we can also be a part of the solution as much as possible. I want to thank everyone for coming on tonight. Michelle, Simone, and those on Instagram, those on TikTok. Karen, hey, how are you? Long time no see. Have a good night. Thank you, Oneil, and thank you, Michelle, for being a guest. I will be joining Carmen at the launch Monday night in Brixton of ZIPPORAH Hair, and hopefully tomorrow night I may have an interview with Ed Bartlett, who may be in the UK. And look out for my interview with Auburn Hill, the Minister of Industry and Commerce. Big things are going on in Jamaica. Don't get distracted by a lot of the political wranglings, but one has got to move beyond and see the bigger picture. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. God bless you. Boom.